This is Joram Barrez from Flowable, and we are today in the Flowable Zurich office. And with me, I've got Micha Kiener. Maybe Micha, you can introduce yourself to the audience on this channel.
Sure. Thanks, Joram, for having me today. I'm Micha. I'm CTO of Flowable, and I'm working mostly with the product, but also in a lot of different areas like sales, pre-sales, some strategic projects. I really want to know how the product is used, what customers are looking for, market trends and stuff like that. So working at a lot of.
So summarizing, you put your nose into everybody's business.
Yes,
pretty much. Anyway, the reason why I asked you today is, we did a webinar recently about AI agents. We talk a lot about AI agents, not just us, of course, the whole market is talking about AI agents for good reasons. One of the key messages, obviously, is that Flowable is a well-suited natural platform when it comes to agents, and especially agent orchestration. So maybe you can tell, what's your take on this? Why? Why do we say that?
I think if you think about agents in general, you have standalone agents. You have agents that do one job.
Yeah.
Could be simple tasks, could be a bit more complex. But they basically, let's call them standalone agents, which is already cool and great. But I think that the biggest value you will get by orchestrating those agents. Easiest probably kind of prompt chaining or agent chaining, but then suddenly it gets way more complex, right? So it gets more complex in a sense. You have gateways in between, you have rules, you have humans in the loop at some point. Where wait a second, that's exactly what we have been doing for so many years now.
I don't want to count the years even.
Yeah.
How long we've been doing this.
Exactly. So orchestration for us means not only putting agents into certain order or adding mixing services in between, but mainly humans as well.
Yeah.
I feel like we're still using humans. We cannot just automate everything with agents.
No, right? That would be not smart thing to do, I think. One of the things we also mentioned in the webinar, and I know that you're a big CRM fanboy, right? Is that case management is an excellent kind of way of doing the kind of orchestration patterns for agents. Why is that? Why do you think that case management is good versus process management, right?
Sure.
And when should I only use case management?
I think I wouldn't put it that way, that case is the only way of orchestrating agents or services, whatever, right? It really depends on your use case, complexity of your use case. And I would never say BPMN or CMN, use one or the other. At Flowable, we always use a combination, kind of the best of both worlds, if you will. Yeah. And having said that, the combination of the two, I think the case just gives you way more flexibility.
When you say flexibility, what do you mean with flexibility? I can be pretty flexible with the process, right?
Yes, you can. Yeah, sure. But I think the case gives you a really good context for running stuff in parallel.
Yeah.
Like if you have, we call them process fragments or a process task within CRM, they can run in parallel.
Yeah.
You can even nicely synchronize back on certain data points or point in time, events, whatever. And by adding humans in the loop, but also dealing with events.
Yes.
You can't tell an event when it should happen because you're ready with the process, waiting for it. That happens as well, but usually events just happen.
Yeah, and I think when you model a case, it kind of forces you also to think about that in the sense that this event, whatever the event is, this can be just a phone call from a customer, this can be some data that gets a certain state, whatever it is, and makes you think about, okay, what if I get it in at any point, and it allows you to model it better, I think, my opinion, of course. But,
exactly, and because CMN also adds a great stuff to track the life cycle of a case, different phases, they call it stages. And for every stage, you can, as you said, you can think about, or you have to think about, what are the rules for the stage? What can happen during that life cycle phase? What needs to happen before I leave and go to the next one? I think it's just a great way, also visually, to top-down orchestrate your end-to-end use case.
I agree, and we now say case management, but in reality, people don't call it cases, right? People do a lot of case management without them knowing that they're doing case management, right? That is, people are handling a patient in kind of healthcare context, or handling insurances, complaints, you name it, right? That's all under the umbrella of what we call case management, right? But in reality, nobody's going to say, hey, I'm going to work on my case. I'm going to work on a particular area of expertise, right?
Exactly.
And in that webinar I just referenced, and I'm sure that the person that's editing the movie is going to put a link in the comments below, or the description it is, right? You showed a lot of things. You showed quite a bit of demo, but there was not enough time to show everything, right? You showed how we have an agent running, and it was assisting the user, right? Really helping with various kind of way, supervised, you named it, I think, right? And then on the other hand of the spectrum, we had the fully autonomous, automated, right, boat actually, where it would make decisions itself and kind of interact with the customer directly without any human intervention. And we were talking over the coffee here, like, what should we now? Can we show something? And you said, well, I really want to show that kind of way of working in between, where it's running autonomous, but there's a human in the loop when needed. So maybe. You brought your laptop, I see, so maybe you can show us what that means.
Yes, I brought my demo from the webinar, more or less the same thing. We have our dashboard here with our cases that take in a customer support request. And to kick things off, I'm going to write an email as a customer, right? Saying that I moved to a new location, I have a new address. That basically kicks off the whole.
This can be anything, right? Can be also, I want to cancel my contract. I want to start a new insurance. I want to, whatever, right? So,
absolutely, could be a KYC. That's a good.
That's a good, agent kind of use case actually.
Absolutely. Now, what happens if we run in full autonomous mode? And at the webinar, we showed the different modes, right? Like from full autonomous, that was at the very end. That's where we pick up today to showcase a bit more what's going on behind the scenes. But the supervised mode would be everything that AI agent decides, extracts, or decision points gets reviewed before it actually is executed.
So now it should automatically send me an email.
So if we refresh,
there you go.
Here we go. We have an email that basically says, hey, we picked up the new address, but it also enforces the local knowledge, which we provided as a knowledge base to the AI agent, basically containing all the rules set for an address change.
And local, you mean here then non-publicly trained data, right? It's specific to our company.
Exactly. So the large language model is publicly trained, containing publicly trained data, which obviously shouldn't contain our local knowledge.
No, that would be a
exactly. So what we said, we need beside the new address, which is obvious, we need a proof of residency document, which means a document that ties your name and new address into one place, could be utility bill, rental statement, whatever. And I didn't provide that. So AI obviously enforces that rule set and asks me to provide a proof of knowledge document. Say attaching an invoice.
Okay. You're being polite, right?
Yes, so normal sentiment. I'm actually going to attach an invoice that has a different address. So
it should fail, right?
It should fail. So if AI is correct, it will basically detect and calm.
And so you didn't code this, right? It says that you didn't code a check on addresses or whatever. You didn't code any of this. You gave the instructions to do what to do to the agent and see what happens.
Good point. I'm using an AI agent to classify the document.
Right.
What is the type of the document? If it is one of the expected document types or accepted document types, it extracts the address from it. So that's all AI. I didn't code anything for that. And I'm using the Flowable content management capabilities, content extract. Now, in the meantime, we have actually received that answer. As expected, we see the provided address, the one from the document. Obviously, they don't match, it's wrong, so I have to provide another one. Again, I'm still being...
so far it makes...
my bad, that was invoice.
Okay. There we go. Best regards.
Still fine.
Yeah.
Now this time I'm going to use the correct address,
Okay.
but different name.
Ah.
So basically different address.
Yeah, it should also
right?
fail, right?
That should also fail.
See.
And again, we are picking up a conversation here because we want to showcase the kind of monitoring agent running behind the scenes, watching the sentiment, watching the loop count, kind of like how the case progresses and detect anomalies.
Exactly, and that's really key to agents. I think is that an agent is constantly monitoring its environment, so to say. Right? It's constantly reacting to whatever is there and detecting patterns, really. Right?
And as we see, obviously, like expected, it's not finished. It really enforces.
Let's get angry now, because this agent is, I'm getting tired of this.
Getting tired of this.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever.
3 exclamation marks. 3.
Oh, 3.
Yeah, I'm really angry about this.
How hard is it to change?
Exactly.
Address.
You're conveying my feelings very well.
Yes.
No best regards.
No.
No.
No best.
Alright, so what should happen now?
Now, the AI agent observing the whole context, conversation, everything, should detect frustrated sentiment, bad sentiment, not neutral, not positive, for sure, negative sentiment, and should add a human in the loop by creating a task within the case.
So no email, so let's have a look.
Let's see.
No email, that's good.
No email, that's good. Let's see on our dashboard, if we refresh, go into the latest case.
Okay.
Here we go.
Yep.
If we go, we see in the open task, we see that review task that was assigned to, so the case basically was assigned to someone.
Screen that context.
And it created
with all the information as I can see on the screen, right? All the
it even gives me a hint saying like, wait a second, this is not a regular task, right? This is kind of like, shouldn't be there, but I need you to review. It even says they detected the sentiment, frustrated. It also said kind of a more, in AI words like why frustration coming up, like the address change taking long, and I can see all the data so far, right? I can see all the conversation, the full thread. I think that's important, right? I see the full thread, I see the latest email, I see what AI crafted so far, the back and forth, I see all the data points, I could then decide and say, maybe it was wrong, whatever. I could overturn it. I have all the information.
But in reality, what I'm going to do now, if I get this task, I will pick up the phone and try to, make the customer happy again.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. So we'll probably not go into it.
No.
Pick up the
This is
phone.
going to piss them off further. Exactly.
Explaining all the stuff.
No, cool. I mean, that really, I think, showcases the middle ground, I would say, right? Where it's not just assisting you, it's running autonomous, but you got the choice, right? I think that's really the key message what you wanted to bring here today, right? That when you run these agent orchestration on the Flowable platform, you choose. It's a balance between, fully automated, you can do that, you can give it a prompt, let it run, do its thing, or, assist you, or anything in between. Well, it's really up to you, and I think we give you the building blocks to build really enterprise orchestrations for agents. I think that's key, right? To really safe and have agents that are on guardrails, as we say, right? That are predictable.
I think if you look at it, it's what we have been doing for decades. It's nothing new. We have been using or building the Flowable platform to orchestrate people, data, services, events, what have you. And now we're just adding AI agents.
Another agents enter the party, right?
It's natural. And I think the most important piece is, like you said, enterprise features, auditing, those guardrails on AI. I think that's really essential. You can't just use pure AI, natural language and everything.
Well, you could,
fine on certain points.
It's not the best idea.
Exactly. It's with Flowable, we give you the choice.
Exactly.
At this point, I'm using pure natural language, pure knowledge or whatever. Here, I want to have more structure, more guided, more processed steps, and humans in the loop.
Okay, cool.
Speeches, so,
With that being said, I think we can conclude. Thank you, Micha, for joining us and showing us this demo. And I'm sure we'll see Micha more on this channel. Thank you for watching. And if you have any questions for us, any new topics we should cover, let us know. And we'll tackle it. Thank you. And until next time, bye-bye.
See you. Bye.